welcome to part 2 of our childhood studio session edit. We've already did the Valentine's Day pictures, so now we're going to edit the Easter and spring pictures that we've taken. So first thing I always do, this is just kind of my flow. I'm going to hit the auto and see what Lightroom comes up with. And you know, when I look at that, I know that's probably pretty close to how I would edit that. So what I'm going to do at this point, I'm going to do a little something different. I'm going to take what they've did and kind of tweak it to the way I would want it to look. So first thing I know, it's a little cool to me. I know Lightroom's picking up the purples and some of the darks in the back to try to balance that out, but I know it needs warmed up just a little bit. Not very much, just a teeny bit. It already added some vibrance and saturation. Next thing I'm going to do is come down and just kind of play with the tone curve a little bit. Just to see what we come up with. Just I'm trying to really just pick up like a little bit of separation here, a little more contrast. That did it perfect. Okay. And the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to come down to the Details tab and just add that little noise reduction for a little skin smoothing. And that's actually a perfect edit for this session. Typically, because this is a dark background, I might play with a little small vignette. I'm not going to add a huge vignette because it's already dark. So if you remember from the last segment, what we're going to do is we're going to sync all the pictures together. So I have the first photo selected that I've added the edit to. I'm going to hold the shift key and I'm going to come to the very last picture and I'm going to hit sync. Remember to make sure everything's selected and hit synchronize. Alright, so what we're going to do is do that little bit of pre-cropping just to get things out of the edges that maybe shouldn't be there. Kind of straighten up a little bit if it needs it. Don't forget about your constrain crop tool. Under the transform, click constrain crop. Sometimes that'll automatically straighten it up for you. And that's one of those tools, sometimes it works great, sometimes it doesn't. I'm going to pull this one just a little closer to center it. Probably going to do the same here. Kind of see I have a duplicate photo. I'm just going to come back. I'm going to remove this from my collection because they're very similar. So I'm going to hit close on my crop and straighten. I'm just going to hit an X and that's going to remove that from the collection. I'm going to remove this one as well. You can tell she's about to cry, so I'm just going to take that right out of there. Here's some fun ones we did. So let me show you a little trick here, because she was right on the edge and she was getting about done. We didn't want to move her, so we just left her there. I'm going to crop this a different way to try to bring some of this out. So we're under the crop tool right here in the corner. If you hit an X, you see how that just kind of that switches us from landscape to portrait. You can still see one little edge over here, but we're going to fill that in. We'll do that after we do the color correction. This is a duplicate, so I'm going to take this out. We don't want to hit the X right here with the crop and straighten tool open, so I'm going to hit close and then just hit X because that removes it from our collection. And I'm going to try that same thing here to see if I like how that looks, and I do. And then this is a duplicate, so I'm just going to remove it from the collection. Alright guys, so remember next we're going to do just a little, I'm just going to check my cropping and straightening. She already did that on those. That one's good. Actually, okay, cropping and straightening is actually good. Next thing I'm going to do is just fill in the rug where we have floor with that clone stamp again. Just real quick here and easy. Just not liking how that's looking. So I accidentally hit something here. I'm going to say no, not to unsync that, and hit fit and just kind of come back and start over. So this happens sometimes. I think I accidentally took it out of the collection. So I am going to come back and find where I was at. I accidentally removed this from the collection, so I'm just hitting P to put it back in the collection. We have another video that shows you how to have your photos in the collection. So I'm going to resync these. Just because I kind of made a little mess up there, but that's okay. I'm going to re-straighten, and then just kind of a little pre-cropping. Now we're going to go back to filling that in, although that doesn't look completely straight to me. There we go. Okay, so now I'm just going to come back into filling in the rug. So I turned my feather down just a little bit. It was a little too high for a rug. Delete that out. It's picking up another part and I don't even see the clone, so I'm just going to delete that out. We'll just kind of pull down here until you have the rug part. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to do a straight line and see if I can get that all filled in at once now. That did pretty good. I'm going to move this over a little. I'm going to move that up a little. My backdrop was just a little off. Okay. Now I'm going to, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to bring my brush tool, or my clone tool down in size. I'm going to click to clone and then click delete so I don't delete the last thing I just did. And I'm going to come over and just kind of play with that clone size. Remember here, we're wanting to kind of keep that in line. That's why I did that spot. Now we're just going to do right around her adorable little dress. I still see a couple little spots there. Nothing major. It doesn't have to be exact. Okay, but there we go. So next thing I'm going to do, guys, I'm looking at these three pictures right here. Something about that egg is really bothering me, probably because it's the only egg in the picture. I'm going to clone that out. So I'm just going to bring my clone tool up in size and turn the feather up. See how real quick and easy it is just to clone that out. Alright guys, so we have added an Easter edit on to an Easter studio session. Stay tuned for the next tip because I'm going to show you how to go through real quick and just soften up her skin a little bit.